Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramon, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and I'm so thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, serving others, and yes, achieving success. We believe we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. We created this show for you because we want to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to make an impact in your world. Hey, whether you're making billions and millions of dollars a year, or just starting out, or just want to add a purpose to your daily life, we're here to support you. And wait till you listen to my guest. This is a father-son duo. I've got the son on today, and they're experts all about authors, books, and marketing. So while you're listening to my guest today and thinking about them as well, think about how you're going to serve today and what impact you'll create today. And the key word is today. Let's not wait a month and have you miss out on all that opportunity to really serve and show your servant's heart. And I want to thank my incredible sponsor, Pantheon Alliance, for sponsoring this show. Imagine being part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries, growing a thought leader expert platform to change the world and make a huge impact. If you're interested in doing that or want to learn more, just reach out to me and I'll get you more information on the Pantheon Alliance. With that being said, as I talk about servant's heart and impact, how they go together, books can do the same thing. My guest father has taught me so much about books, and I've had ghostwriters and other people about being an author. I will be someday. I should do that today, not wait, like I said, for about serving, but we'll talk about that later. But there's so much power, and I think there's misrepresentation of a book that you could be a multimillionaire, Sarah, be a New York bestseller. That's not the goal of a book. And we're going to learn that today. Caleb, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Steve.
You're a young guy. Why should young people write a book?
It's a great question. So young people are in a stage of life where they need to be learning a lot. They need to be certainly reading a lot of books, learning from the accumulated wisdom of others. They need to be learning from personal mentors that they're working with or people that they get to interact with. And they need to be learning from experience, especially in the workplace where they are getting paid to do a job. They are also getting paid to learn how to do that job better over time. There's a great opportunity there to increase your own skills, better serve in the role that you're at, and also equip yourself to be able to take on increasing opportunities down the road. So a young person should first and foremost be thinking about, how do I learn and intake myself? But then also, how do I spread that knowledge to others? And for some people, that's just going to look like a very informal, having conversations with the people around them, finding somebody who's even more junior than you in the organization and meeting up to help them learn the ropes. For some people, it's going to mean that they're active on a blog or a forum or some form of social media, and they're posting about what they learn and being on the journey with other people. And for some people, it might be that they write a book to have a broader appeal. Not everybody should go straight there because it's challenging and because you do want to have something to say, and you have to have a certain amount of learning and life experience to get to that point. Some people, that is really young. Some people, it takes them a few more years before they actually get to the point of having something to say that's worth putting into a book. But for any young person, if they keep in mind that learning first and then sharing out of that learning mindset, they're going to be in a good place.
I like that. Opportunity is the big thing. It does open doors. I've heard that from many people, and that's one of the powers of a book. Let's talk legacy. I'm 63. When I write my book, hopefully next year, I'm going to leave a legacy. It's going to be much shorter. I'll be around, but after I leave, that legacy, that book's going to be in somebody's coffee table or whatever it may be. But a 27-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 35-year-old, they can start building and writing books. Talk about their legacy they're leaving when they do leave.
Yeah, the sooner in life that you accomplish something like publishing a book, the more time you have to benefit from it. So that there's like a dual aspect to the legacy. There's the legacy that is facing outward. How are people going to be able to learn from this book? And no matter when you write the book, that will last long beyond your own lifetime. But certainly there's a difference in how much of that legacy you can benefit from while you're still alive. Some people will read your book and they'll want to interview you. They'll want to talk to you. If you've got a business, they'll want to do business with you. And it helps if you are still around for them to be able to actually do those things and engage with you as the author, in contrast to so many amazing books that we read where the authors are long gone now and just their words last.
You got me excited and not so excited, because you're right. My tour is a little shorter than most. I'm half kidding, because I don't, age is a number, but you're right.
You got another couple decades.
I got plenty of time that we're going to do great stuff with. And I love that you said, let's expound upon this message. You said, not everybody should write a book. And why is that?
It's hard. Start there. It's hard to write a book. It is a significant investment of time and resources and thinking. You've got to be aware of the opportunity cost. There are some people who could better use that time in other ways, or where timing is a big part of it. A lot of people early in life aren't going to have that discretionary time, and what they would be, the impact they'd be able to have and the opportunity that they'd get from writing a book just isn't there yet. And they would be better served by using their time in different ways and writing the book when they have some more years under their belt.
Great. That's because I like that, because there's, podcasts are not for everybody. Books are not for everybody. Radio, all this different stuff. It's not, it fits everybody. I love that, because I want people to understand that. Like, I really need to write a book. Well, if you don't fit any of that criteria, don't do it. Find something that you got time to do. Paperback Expert, your business you and your dad run, and you have a team, is about marketing as well. Why is a book a great lead magnet?
A book's a great lead magnet because it has extremely high perceived value. People understand that when a book is published, you as the author have put hours of your time into it. You've put years of expertise condensed into its pages. You've spent the time to organize your thoughts, create useful frameworks or step-by-step plans. They know when they read this book, they are going to get out of it massive value because you have condensed so much of what you know into it. And that makes it a really ideal lead magnet for high value situations. We talk about this with business owners who have high ticket services like financial advisors or attorneys or realtors or CPAs. They are providing really valuable services that have a really high price tag attached to them. And so a book can be an incredible lead magnet to communicate to a prospect, I recognize your value and the value of my services, and this is a way of opening the conversation. And then even beyond that, when we're thinking about referral partners or centers of influence, sending your book to somebody that you'd like to have a peer-to-peer relationship with is also a great way to open that conversation because of that high value that it brings. It is leading with a gift that has some weight and some heft to it. And people just recognize that culturally because in our society, experts have books.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that. October 2022, when I started my podcast, Caleb, my bookshelf was empty. Now I look behind you, I'm looking at my bookshelf, it's full of books, because exactly what authors are doing. Here, read my book, or here's my book. Thank you for having me as a guest. What a great lead magnet. And then they give them a bunch of leads, and guess what? Their business takes off. So well said. And that's any age, a 21-year-old or an 80-year-old. It works across the board, right?
Right, right. It all comes down to, are you going to be able to serve people through your book? Are you writing not just a fluff piece to say, hey, I'm so great, you should give me your money, but no, I actually have thought about this. I have experiences, I have mistakes that I've learned from, and I am actually going to create this book in order to educate, in order to serve, in order to help other people, knowing that some of them are really going to resonate, they're really going to connect with it, and they're going to want to come and get more help from me to solve the challenges that they're dealing with.
Connecting is a big word there. That's a great way to connect without having to be on a Zoom call with 500 people that are reading your book. They can read your book, and you're connecting with them, not virtually, but actually reality with reading the book. So you've established, and very well, I might add, the importance of a book, what can happen with a book, and it sounds exciting. Somebody listening is going, okay, Caleb, I love what you're saying. What's my first step?
Yeah. Great question. So we work particularly at Paperback Expert with business owners to write business nonfiction. And the first step whenever we're working with someone is to identify their core message, their book idea, and then to start to develop that. You can't jump straight into writing a book by opening up a Word document and typing. It's just not going to get you anywhere. You need to spend some serious time with other people who ideally have some experience and some training around book creation and outlining to develop your idea into a structure, a scaffolding. Most of us naturally think and talk in spaghetti-like fashion. Just goes here, there, everywhere, turns around, knots in and on itself. And that's fine for conversations. We can circle around, we can go back, we can figure out, wait, what was that you said? In a book, it has to be so much more structured and linear, because if you lose the reader, you're not there. They can't ask you, what did you mean by that? If they get lost, it's really hard for them to get back on track. And so taking that brilliance, that genius, but that mess in your head, externalizing it onto paper and developing the idea into a structure is really the place to start.
And copywriting is extremely important in this, correct?
Yeah, certainly being able to choose the right words for the idea. It makes a big difference whether it'll be received as same old, I've heard that before, or wow, I have never thought about it that way.
And what I like your dad, Michael, on our podcast, he was such a great guest like you are today. He just said, just take a great tip. And this is a great tip for you, everybody out there that wants to write a book. I'm doing it. Take a microphone and just start talking about your book, and I'm going to and have it transcribe on a computer. And then you guys can help, or somebody else can help ghostwrite or copyright that, put those words where it's not confusing anymore, correct?
Definitely, because that's the next step when we're working with a business owner. Once we have that outline, we'll have a series of guided conversations with them. It's in essence, yeah, let's get on Zoom, let's hit record, and why don't we ask you, the business owner, a ton of questions, and you just talk about your business. You talk about your business all day when prospects come in for appointments, and you've got stories and stories from all of your years. Let's just get those out of your head, extract them, record it. We transcribe everything, and then we have so much raw material that's in your voice, your message, your stories, and that becomes the basis for the book manuscript. And if you're doing this solo, then similarly, just make sure you've got some sort of outline so that you know where you're going. But yeah, hit record, start talking, get something out there onto the page, because it's so much easier to be editing a first draft than it is to be writing on an absolutely blank page.
Marketing is another big part of what you have unique marketing with books. Give us some of those unique marketing ideas that you have for authors to help them get their book out there.
Yeah. The objective is so important here. For a lot of authors, their marketing is geared around how do I sell more copies of my book? How do I get a broader distribution? And for somebody whose business centers around their book, that totally makes sense. It's what they need to do. Paperback Expert particularly works with business owners. And so for business owners, the objective is less about selling copies of the book as a way to earn an income. Rather, it's about how do you use the book as a marketing tool to promote your business, because the business is the business owner's source of income. That's how they are going to succeed, by growing their business, not by selling individual book copies for 15 bucks a pop. So in our marketing trainings at Paperback Expert, we're very much focused on how do you use the book in your business. For example, if you have a prospect appointment coming up in a couple of days, how do you get your book into the hands of that prospect so that when they show up, they're not a blank slate with very little idea of who you are and what you're all about and how you work with people. Rather, they have consumed about 3 hours worth of your best content about your process and stories of people you've served, what you stand for, what you stand against. And it makes that first conversation into the equivalent of a second or even third conversation, to have the book going before you and representing you to a prospect.
So that's a business card on steroids, because our business cards, our name, our email, our website, phone number, maybe really surface stuff. But sending that book out like a business card and going, hey, this is Steve Ramona, or this is Caleb DeLon. Here, read this and learn more about me. That's powerful. What other tips do you have for using the book for marketing?
Yeah, great question. An obvious one that too many people don't do is, if you have a book, then make sure that it's on your website, displayed prominently, somewhere on the home page, not hidden away under 7 subpages. Make sure if you have social media that you mention it in your bio, maybe it's included in your header image. You should definitely include it in your email signature, either just a simple link to, hey, check out my book, that takes them back to your website, or you can insert a small image of your book even beneath your signature. Just put it all of the places where somebody who is sort of interested about you, trying to figure out who you are, the places that person checks out. Make sure you mention, hey, I have a book, and here's how you can get a copy. Because so many people just write a book and then they don't even put it in the obvious places. And then they're surprised when people don't realize that they have a book and don't read it.
Yeah, that's well done. I know your dad talked about sending a book to somebody, but sending a second book, I believe it was your dad, and taking that second book and giving it to a friend or a business partner or an employee. Is that another great way to market your book about you, not about selling the book?
Yeah, that is specifically a referral strategy. Business owners love referrals, but a lot of them struggle to get referrals, and they struggle to help their clients know how to give a referral in a way that's not awkward or salesy, because you don't want to put your prospects or your clients in that position, and they don't want to be in that position. But sending along extra copies of your book makes that conversation so much easier. It changes on the client side from, hey, I worked with so-and-so, it was great, you should go talk to them, vague, to, hey, I just worked with this guy, he wrote a book, it was really cool, I've got an extra copy, let me give it to you as a gift. Then the client gets to be in a position of providing value and giving away this valuable resource to their friend. Makes that interaction so much smoother. And when their friend then gets in contact, they already have read 3 hours worth of material about you. They're coming in as a much warmer lead who not only has the credibility from the book, but also the trust from that relationship with your happy client.
Yeah, that's such a great tool. And it costs you $8. Let's say it's $8 to do a book. That's minimal to compare to that referral could be thousands of dollars. So the ROI is huge. It's a great tip. I know you have a ton of stories. You've got a story on the top of your head of a business owner you work with, got their book written and the results.
That's a great question. Yeah, there's so many to pick from, and I have my favorites. My dad has his favorites. So I'm trying to figure out which story will my dad have told so that I don't repeat it. But I know that there's one advisor who has written multiple books with us, financial advisor. And he's done a radio show for just years and years and years, and lots of people listen to him regularly. Before he wrote a book with us, he had a call to action to say, if you want to learn more, then I've got this kit that's got, some pamphlets and some info. It's got a branded pen. It's just got, stuff. And there was some valuable information in those different pamphlets and guides and leaflets, and it was a nice kit. But the value just wasn't there. Some people certainly called in, but I think a lot of them, and he felt this, just didn't call in because it wasn't a compelling enough offer for them to go to that trouble of remembering the phone number and when they get home from driving in the car to actually call it. So he wrote a book with us and then changed his call to action to be, hey, give me a call and I will send you a copy of my book. And he sticks his book in that kit and he sends it all out together. And he just immediately started to get so many more people who had listened to his radio show for months or years, had been following him, had been vaguely interested. That offer was a significant enough value that it overcame their inertia of doing nothing and caused them to actually start the conversation with him. And once he starts the conversation, some number of those people are going to go on and become clients. And he had such great success with that first book. He came back and he wrote a second book with us because he wanted to keep it on going.
I like that. I just got a kick a couple weeks ago from Dr. Susie Carter. Shout out to her. It had a rock with prosperity. It had a lock to lock your, just very cool. I'll never forget. I just mentioned it. I love the idea of a kit, not just sending the book, but adding some swag. You could put a t-shirt, cup, I think she gave us a mug too, things like that, that just sit there and keep reminding people that you're around. This has been so good. We're coming to the end of time. I'd like to ask you a personal question. You ready? It's going to be fun. So you've reserved a table at a restaurant, a table for 4. You're obviously going to sit in one of the chairs. In the other 3 chairs, dead or alive, who would you invite? Why? And what food would you order?
And what food would I order? Wow, that adds another level to it.
It does, yes.
Okay, let's think here. All right. So table for 4. One person that I would invite would be C.S. Lewis. I have read so many of his books. People don't even realize just how many books Lewis wrote. Of course, you have the Chronicles of Narnia, but then he also wrote a science fiction trilogy called the Space Trilogy, which is equally excellent. He has the Screw Tape Letters, and that's all on the fiction side. But then on the nonfiction side, he wrote Mere Christianity and Miracles and Problem of Pain, Grief Observed. There's so many books across so many different genres, really a unique intellect. And I have enjoyed both sides of his writing so much that I would love to sit and have a conversation with him. Another seat would be John Piper, who was a pastor at Bethlehem Baptist Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota for many years and has since retired from that position. He was very formative in my Christian development as a teenager. I consumed untold hours of his sermons, mostly while mowing lawns with my brother. He had a little lawn care business.
That's nice.
And his approach to a joyful Christianity has really shaped how I view what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And then the other person going to a totally different area of life and business would be Cal Newport, who is a living author. He's a professor of computer science who also writes books about technology and work and how to survive and thrive at work in a very distracted world. So he wrote Deep Work, which was a mega bestseller a handful of years ago. He's more recently come out with Digital Minimalism, Slow Productivity. He has probably influenced my approach to work more than anyone else, certainly up there with the David Allens of the world. So those 3 people would love to meet with. And then what are we going to eat? I got to figure out even what sort of restaurant we are going to go to all together. I think I would enjoy being at a restaurant that would have just a really nice charcuterie board with some cheeses and meats and olives and figs and fruits, just a great spread so that we can all pick from what we want and munch our way through the conversation.
Easy way to converse too, because
Yes.
you're appetizing kind of way. And it's interesting. C.S. Lewis is one of my favorites, but from the Christian side, our church probably quotes him almost every week. I forgot he did Chronicles of Narnia. I'm going to look up this trilogy. I didn't know he was in sci-fi. It's exciting me right now. Thank you.
Yes.
Because I was not aware. And that's why I love hosting podcasts, because I get to learn as well. I know it's a little selfish, but I'm sure you've learned a lot too today. Caleb,
Absolutely.
you brought us a lot of incredible information about authorism, being an author of books. How can people reach out and find you and support you?
Yeah, paperbackexpert.com is our website. It's the best place to learn about what we do, how we serve authors, what our process is like. And then if somebody wants to connect with me individually, just search for Caleb DeLon on LinkedIn. That's C-A-L-E-B, last name DeLon, spelled D-E-L-O-N. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Caleb DeLon on there, so it should be pretty easy to find me there on LinkedIn. Just send me a connection request, say that you heard me on Steve's podcast, and would love to have a conversation.
We'll put the link in the show notes as well as the website. And not that he won't talk to somebody my age, but you young people out there thinking about writing a book or have written a book, reach out to him, get some advice. Maybe you'll hire them, but he's not saying reach out to him to be a client. Reach out for any questions. And if you can't get a hold of him, I will definitely connect you with him, because I have access as well. And also do me a favor on YouTube, which is going to go out in a couple of days. Comment on this show. He's done a great job. Give us feedback. Give me feedback. It only helps us. And if you want to connect with him, mention it there and I'll do the same thing, because he's opened a door of an opportunity for you to really do something really cool. And imagine Christmas 2024, your gifts at Christmas are your book. Pretty powerful. Hey, our family members and friends, here's my book, enjoy it. So I didn't even think about Christmas, but it's another great way to market your book. Also, don't forget about my TV show, Together We Serve. It's every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I believe Caleb's dad was on. He was an incredible guest on the TV show. You'll find me at e360tv.com, or you can search on Apple, Roku, and all those different streaming services. And me and Caleb want to thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everybody.